Eric Muathe, Muathe.com. Just want to take a quick look at the market here 2 hours after the open. This is how we are trading, a little bit off the highs. And before we close for the week here, let me show you what I'm looking at. Of course, we know that the monthly continues to be strong on the Dow above 69.1. Take a look at the weekly. Continues to trade well above 69.1. That's also good. We take a look at the daily. And as of yesterday, we were talking about the potential for support on the Dow on this line here. And this is still playing out. As we can see here, the market is trying its best to hold this line, which was a good entry here in early November. We also tagged this line as we discussed in the last video during this pullback. So the key here is whether we can get a bounce on this line to start this next uptrend, or what could happen here is a simple break of that line, and now we are poised for a pullback deeper than the one we got over the last 1 or 2 weeks. Let's take a look at the hourly charts, which is the main focus here. Just want to show you what's going on, and the reason for this video is there is a line connecting RSI topside. If we draw it like that, or let's just connect the tops here, and you can see that the market is, as of right now, off the highs for the day. We've hit this line twice. So visually, until we move above this line, we have to speculate here that the market is gonna struggle as long as this is resistance on the 30-minute, on the hourly. Take a look at the other view, which is going to connect the uniformity resistance line. We can either draw it this way. We broke down here. That break brought the market lower, 1-day drop, which is here. And so we take that information, draw our uniformity resistance line, which is right there. And again, we get short term what looks like a double top. So that's a challenging area in the market. Until we can move above that red line and the previous blue line, we can assume that this market is still looking like it is under downside pressure. So clearly here, the market needs to move above those two lines before we can advance beyond current levels. We take a look at the 30-minute chart, pretty much crystallizes this visual look. We need to move above this topside resistance line. Otherwise, failure to move above this topside resistance line short term still points to a market that is due for a continued, either looks like now we're looking at a market that is sideways to a little bit down. Now, if the market can come and clear this line, then of course, given the strength on the monthly chart, we start looking for potential for a bounce. But as of right now, this is the challenge. We can also see that we can draw the uniformity resistance line, which is where the market is struggling at the highs of the day. You see this line here. Recent break right there, and now we try to move above that line. We've been rejected so far over the last 2 attempts. So until we move above the red line and of course the previous blue line, just like we saw on the hourly, what we are suggesting here is we should expect the market to be still showing some short-term resistance levels. Now, if you want to go along the market, I would say wait until the market clears these 2 lines to the upside. Otherwise, right now, I think what I'm trying to discuss here is the idea that the market is now leaning to sideways, maybe even now starting to still point down. As long as we see these resistance levels on the hourly and also on the 30-minute chart, keep in mind on the daily, go back to that daily chart. This is where the market needs to prove itself by weaving itself back above RSI 50 with uniform action. The last time it did so was during this pullback here. That was uniform action. So let's do this right here. Uniform activity bounce for the lows there. Also, this was uniform activity bounce for the lows here. So what the market needs to do is figure out a way of moving back above RSI 50 with uniform action. And at the same time, if we are unable to do that and we stall around current levels here, going back to this breakout line, failure to hold above that blue line suggests that now this market is poised for even more downside, at the very least short term, maybe even major highs. We shall see. But right now, we're looking at a market that is still heavy, trading heavy, with potential of pulling back. So the ideas that we've been discussing on the short side are still very timely and relevant. There's a good chance that this is what is going to end up being part 2. In other words, I don't want to add too much unnecessary information. Otherwise, could be part 2 of this weekend's market analysis video. I know I haven't discussed commodities, but take a look at the last video. I mentioned my views on commodities and the dollar. Dollar looks like it was stabilizing, which might put pressure on the commodities. Otherwise, I'll decide whether there's need for part 2. We'll see how the weekend goes. If I see good reason to break your weekend with more market analysis, I'll let you know. Otherwise, let's see how the market closes here. I lean to a market that, without moving above this line and holding above this line, especially if we break here, could suggest that we are still looking at a market that is net pointing down until it can clear the challenges on the hourly and on the 30-minute charts. Eric Muathe with Muathe.com. As always, good luck, peace, and blessings.